Welcome to this short video. I'll teach you some of the basics of computer networking and specifically using this packet tracer. So I want to connect some of the devices here that we have been using in the last few classes. For example, a switch. Switch is somehow basic compared to a router. For example, let me connect this switch. This 2960 switch. And we want to connect some devices like PC, your personal computer, like that. So if you want to connect these two devices, this device and the switch, you have to come here and select this one, copper straight through. However, if you're not sure the cable to use, you can always use this automatic. Yes, this automatic cable here that it can connect for you. Okay, like that. You see? However, no, you can, but this is the best. This is the cable that you use to connect devices, which are different. For example, if you want to know where it has been connected, you can hover over this switch, and you can see it is connected to Fast Ethernet 01. This one which is up. The others are all down, but the first one is up. The second thing, you can connect this one Fast Ethernet to this Fast Ethernet. Now you have connected those two devices to this switch. Okay. After doing that, so that these two computers can be able to communicate, there is something called IP address. You have to set an IP address. Okay. You have to click the computer here on the PC, come to config. Yes, there is static and there is dynamic. This static is used when you want to assign IP addresses manually. Anyway, you can just click here instead of config and click IP configuration. You see, there is static and there is dynamic. Static is used when you want to configure these IP addresses manually by yourself. So let us assign this computer this IP address 192.168.1.1. The moment you click here, a subnet mask will be assigned automatically. Okay. Yes. There is also this one, DHCP. DHCP is an abbreviation for Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. This one is used when a server or a router is used to assign IP addresses to these devices automatically. Okay, you don't have to configure the way we have done right now. So I think I will teach you that later as we progress. I know how to configure a router to assign IP addresses automatically to devices. But for now, just run how to assign automatically, like that one. So I don't know whether you understand these numbers. 192.168.1.1. This is called class C IP address. You can use .1.1.1.2.1.3, but I prefer to start .1.1 because it's the first address. It can go out up to 254, like that. Okay, that is if you have a lot of devices in that network. Okay, we have assigned this one as .1.1.192.168.1.1. We close that. Then we assign the other one as 192.168.1.2. Okay, remember the first one was .1.1. Okay, we click there and the subnet mask is assigned automatically. After doing that, we can close this like that. After doing that, if you want to know whether these two devices can communicate, come here, click like that, come to command prompt, this one, then use this command. I don't know whether you have ever come across this one. Ping, that word ping. Which device are we? Have we clicked? I'm not even sure. This one, this PC1. If you remember PC1, you have given it IP address 192.168.1.1. So we want to know if it can communicate with this other PC. So we ping 192.168.1.2 like that. Remember the IP address for this other one, we assigned it as 192.168.1.2. So when we do that, then we click enter. You see, whenever you see this reply from 192.168, it means the two devices can communicate. They are in a network and they can communicate. Okay. Yes. So something else. I don't know whether, I know you are not familiar with IP addresses, but you need to know that every device in a network has an IP address. Every device, even the device you are using in your house has an IP address. If you want to know the IP address of your computer, the computer you are using, the one you are using now, just click the window button like this one, the window button in your keyboard. I know you know it. Then after doing that, click CMD like this. Okay, CMD. Then click this command prompt. Then here, then click IP config, then space, then this symbol like that, all. Then click OK. After doing that, look for IP address, this IP version 4 address. Come here, 192.168.1.102. This is the IP address of my computer. Okay. This is the IP address of my computer. There are other devices in my network that have other IP addresses. This address cannot be the same as any other address in any other device. Okay? They cannot be the same. It is unique. It identifies my device uniquely in this network. Something else you need to know is on configuring switches. When you want to configure, you just click on the switch, CLI, command line interface. This is command line interface. Then after doing that, then click enter. You see, this is the name of the switch. It's called switch. You can even change this name. I'll show you how to do it. When you do that, when you're starting to configure a switch or even a router, you have to type the word enable like that. This is not like programming. This is easy. You do this in everywhere. Now the devices enable, then click enter. You see something has changed. You see this side. For doing that, type configure terminal. These are the commands that are very basic in any switch or router and you want to configure. Okay. You can say, you can give it a name. Yeah, you can give this switch a name like host name. You can call it like S1, S1, like that. See? And I hope you can see it has changed this S1 from switch to S1, meaning we have changed its name. Okay. So a switch does not have a lot of configurations compared to a router. Okay. A router has a lot of configurations, which I'll show you in other videos that I will record. But for doing that, if you want to go back, to reverse, not reverse, but to go back, like you can see what this is a difference. There's a difference from this and this. You can click exit, okay, to go back. Want to go back to where you are, then type again configure that. I remember there was a time that you are trying to configure a device or these devices, but this was not blue, it was red. Okay, that means that the port that you connected to was down. Yeah? It was like it was shut down. Yeah. Right now I can try to shut down this port. Let me just type shut down. I don't know whether it can work. No, it can't work. Let me show you. Right now, I want to know where I connected. First Ethernet 01. Okay. You come here and type interface first. Something else with these switches. If you don't, it's not a must that you type everything. You can type like that. You see, I have typed interface first. Then, if you want it to complete it for you, just click the tab button in your keyboard like that. You see, 0, 1. First Ethernet 01. Then from there, type shutdown. You want to shut that port. Shut down like that. You can see it has turned to red. So that port cannot work now. We have shut it down. Okay. Now, if you want that port to wake up, not to shut down, you do like this. We say interface. No, we need to go back. When you go back to the previous mode, this mode here, so you cannot type interface first Ethernet when it is like this. You see, there is a difference. There's a difference between this and this. There's a difference for sure. If you can look closely, you need to click exit like that. You see, then we say interface first Ethernet 0, 1 like that. Then if you want it to wake up so that it can be blue, we type no shutdown, no shutdown, like that. Just wait and see. You see, it's starting to wake up. Okay, it will be blue, definitely. That's how you do it. I think I've told you some of the basic configurations that you can make it a switch. Okay. What else? I think I want you to master those simple those simple configurations. Then I will record another video showing you how to connect this switch to a router and how it goes. Okay. Right now, you can even try to connect other devices here. Okay, like that one. Then use this copper straight glue. You see, like that. But when you do that, make sure you assign an IP address here, like 192.168.1.3. That is the only way that computer can communicate to other devices in this network. You can also connect another switch. Okay, another switch like that. After doing that, something I want you to know is that when you are connecting devices, two devices which are not the same, like a switch and a computer, or a switch and a router, a switch and a computer, you use this cable here, copper straight glue cable. However, if you want to connect devices which are the same, like this switch and this switch, you use this cable here, copper crossover cable. That is how do exactly like that. Next, first Ethernet to 4 to first Ethernet 01, whichever Ethernet you want to connect to. Okay, that is how we connect devices which are the same. After doing that, you can connect another computer here, like that, and use this cable. Like that. When you do that, make sure there is an IP address here configured, like 192.168.1.4. Remember, we have assigned these IP addresses from 192.168.1.1 to .1.4 now, like that. You can even connect another one like that. Like that. Always assign an IP address. That without an IP address, this computer cannot communicate. .1 .what? .5, yes, like that. Now this computer here can even communicate with this computer here. You just need to know the IP addresses. For example, the IP address of this computer is .192.168.1.1, as you can see here. And this one is .1.5. So if you want to verify these two computers can communicate, come here and issue this command: A 192.168.1.5, like that. 192. 168.1.5. You can see, if you see this reply, that means the two computers can communicate. However, if you see something like request timed out, it means the two computers cannot communicate because there's a problem somewhere. Okay, so this is how a network is configured in most cases. For example, this can be I don't know how to put it, but let me, for example, here, this can be finance department. For example, where you work, this can be the network for the finance department. Okay, these other computers can be from IT department. That so if you see, these computers can communicate with these other computers from the finance department. That is how a computer is simply configured. You can even look at where you work. There's a switch and another switch. Maybe they are hidden, but they are there, definitely. And they are configured the same way we have done with IP addresses and all that. So I want, like, tomorrow or the next day after tomorrow, to record another video where I connect this switch to a router. Now that's where things get complicated somehow, but I'll show you how it's done, because there's a lot of configurations that you make between a router and a switch so that they can communicate. You know, when you connect a router, let me show you. You know, when you connect a router with a switch, when you connect any router with a switch, like that, this means that this is one network. Okay, this is one network. Then we can do the same thing to another with another router. Let me show you. Like that. Then we use a switch like that. Then we connect the two. Then we connect the computer to the switch. That. Then we connect. Remember, we said when you connect devices which are the same, like a router and a router, you use this cable crossover like that. So I'll teach you how to how this computer can communicate to this. When we involve a router, it's a bit complicated, but I'll definitely show you how. And I don't want to show you like now, because you'll get confused. So I'll teach you how to do it. Yeah, use other protocols called OSPF and others called EIGRP so that they can communicate. When you're able to do that, I think you'll be at a better position. So for now, practice these ones. Connecting computers using the ping command, connecting a switch and a switch in computers, but don't involve a router for now. So I'll record a video in a few days, definitely, I promise. So let me stop for now.